Patterns in Nature by Group 2 of BSHM-1A. Patterns. In mathematics, a pattern, also known as sequence, is a repeated arrangement of numbers, shapes, colors, and so on, which can be related to any type of event or object.
All around us, we see a great diversity of living things, from the microscopic to the gigantic, from the bright of colors to dull ones. Patterns are regularity in the universe, where the elements repeat in orderly random manner to make a particular arrangement. It's somehow predictable because it follows a specific structure. Every pattern has a different type: symmetry, fractals, and spirals, Fibonacci patterns, and its tessellation.
Symmetry. It means that one shape becomes exactly like another when you move it in some way, turn, flip, or slide. Trees. Formed from chaotic equations and form self-similar patterns of complexity, increasing with magnification. Spirals. A curved pattern that focuses on a center point and a series of circular shapes that revolve around it.
Fractals. A never-ending pattern. They're infinitely complex patterns that are self-similar across different scales. Tessellations. A pattern of shapes that fit perfectly together.
These can be considered as tessellations, since it has a form by repeated hexagonal tiles where it acts as a cell from joining the pollen and a honey made by the bees. When you think about it, forming circles could not be a good idea because it would be a leave a gaps along the honeycomb. Triangles or spheres could be used as a storage by the worker bees. This could be no gaps, but the hexagon is the strongest, most useful shape. The geometry of the shape is used at least amount of materials to hold the most weight.
Beehives are made of walls, each of the same size, enclosing small hexagonal cells where honey and pollen is stored and bees are raised. Hexagonal in bees are just for aesthetics and they are just for honey storage. Each cell is a full potential card and food supplement for a larva to develop.
A beehive is an enclosed structure in which some honeybee species of the subgenus Apis live and raise their young. Though the word beehive is commonly used to describe the nest of any bee colony, scientific and professional literature distinguishes nest from hive. Nest is used to discuss colonies that house themselves in natural or artificial cavities or are hanging and exposed. Hive is used to describe an artificial or man-made structure to house a honeybee nest. Several species of aphids live in colonies, but for honey production, the western honeybee or Apis mellifera and the eastern honeybee Apis cerana are the main species kept in hives. The honeycomb conjecture. The honeycomb conjectures is a mathematical hypothesis which states that a regular hexagonal grid or honeycomb is the best way to divide a surface into regions of equal area with the least total perimeter. In layman terms, the honeycomb pattern is the most spatially efficient design, leaving minimum wasted space between objects. Nature has truly mastered mathematical perfection, and humans are only just catching up. Although a honeycomb is a three-dimensional object, because the individual cells are all cylindrical, the total area of the wax wall depends solely on the shape of the cross-section of the cells. Thus, the mathematical problem is one of two-dimensional geometry, the kind we are learning in school.
Formation of the pattern, beehives. Bees are smart in choosing a location to create and build their nest, and will usually settle down anywhere that offers protection from nature's element. Once the location is settled, the construction begins from the top down. Worker bees prepare the space by covering the beehive's wall with a thin layer of propolis. and use this inside the hives and at various stages of construction to help protect the colony from harmful germs and intruders. The wax that has been secreted in then chew by the bees until it becomes softer and can form individual cells, which are used to store pollen, nectar, honey, eggs, water, and larvae. The walls inside a beehives can support 30 times their own weight. It also will contain honey in the uppermost section. Following the construction of the uppermost section, the pollen is in the row are below the followed by worker brood cell and drone bee cell. The queen bee cell are at the bottom of the construction. Once built, the hives only has one single entrance and will last the colony for several years.
Element or position. The inner cover of the hive resembles a shallow tray with a ventilation hole in the center. You might also like to catch a notch in one of the short length on the frame. This is an extra ventilation source positioned to the front of the hive. You place the inner cover at the hive with the tray side facing up. The outer cover protects the bees from the elements like the roof on your house. You can ensure that it's waterproof and also extend the life of the wood by covering the top with a waterproof material. Aluminum flashing, asphalt tiles, cedar, shingle, and so on.
Benefits of beehives. The rewards of beekeeping extend beyond honey and pollination. Bees produce other products that can be harvested and put to good use, including beeswax, propolis, and royal jelly. If you like thriving gardens, biology, nature, and helping the community and environment, one way to provide garden and community pollination is by keeping honeybees. In addition to interacting with these amazing creatures and fostering these pivotal pollinators, hive byproducts are a major bonus to keeping bees.
Similar patterns to beehives. Tessellations form a class of patterns found in nature. Just like beehives, snakeskin, sunflower, leaf, rock mud, and tidal are natural examples of tessellation patterns. These distinct shapes are formed from several geometric units or tiles that all fit together with no gaps or overlaps to form an interesting and united pattern.
Conclusion. Beehives simplicity in their own way as they are constructed entirely. From across the world, the bee supports millions of livelihoods while also enriching the ecosystem. By beekeeping enterprise to rural communities and related to agricultural and historical production, the hexagonal shape of the honeybee cells has attracted the attention of humans for centuries. That bees build cylindrical cells that later transport in the hexagonal systems. This explanation involving the geometry skills of bees have been abandoned in favor of new hypotheses involving the action of physical forces, but in recent data suggests that mechanical shaping by bees plays a role.